Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor, and I'm going to react to the show. Let's watch.
Julia called me, and she said that it's time to leave. It worries me that she's this angry. Julia!
Right. It worries me that she's this angry, given the way he's reacted to her thus far, and really even before this episode. I'm guessing what he's going to do is try to frame it as she's hysterical, essentially. Oh, you're so emotional, you have to calm down, as a way of trying to control her. So let's see what happens.
Julia has no idea how lucky we are to have a place to live for free, and I'm saving money for our future together.
Okay, so that's consistent with what we've been hearing this whole season, is that he can, at least the implication is they can move out, but he's trying to save money for their future. Dude, you're not going to have a future if you decide to stay on the farm. It's pretty clear. It was pretty clear from the start that that was the case. So let's see what he does.
I'm trying really hard here to make her happy, and it just feels like the effort's in vain.
Wow, yikes. So reading between the lines, he's essentially saying, you know, I did all I could, and she just can't be happy. There's no pleasing Julia. What? Now, I also want to say, I don't know his financial situation. Maybe it's much more difficult for him to move out. Maybe if he laid out his financial situation, I'd be like, oh, so you, one, have enough money for maybe like half rent somewhere in your area. And two, the amount of money that's coming in is just not going to work to sustain the two of you living in an apartment and paying all the bills and stuff. Maybe we would find that to be true. It doesn't sound that way to me, though, but who knows?
What's wrong?
I call you and I say what I feel.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that he's starting with being nice. What's wrong? But he should know the answer to that question, right?
Brandon, I hate all place here. I hate what happened.
Julia.
Brandon, I hate this place. I don't go marry you. I think you don't want marry me. I just stay.
Why?
Because, Brandon, you don't give me place comfortable. You not stay with me. I'm stay alone. I need working here. We have problem every day, but not fix.
So I'm really concerned about this conversation. I can't imagine it's going to go well given what we've seen thus far. I'm guessing he's going to continue to frame her as hysterical and over-emotional and being unreasonable, and there's no pleasing Julia kind of a thing. And that just makes me feel really bad for Julia, honestly. But maybe that won't happen. Let's hope. Cross our fingers.
Because, Brandon, you don't give me place comfortable. You not stay with me. I'm stay alone. I need working here. We have problem every day, but not fix. You not fix.
I'm trying, Julia. I'm trying.
How? What are you doing for try?
It's just temporary, just something we need to deal with for a little time, and then we'll be out in our own place.
All right. Well, that's what he's been saying this whole time, that it's just temporary. Now, there's some debate as to whether or not that's even true, but let's go with that's really what he intends on doing. Well, that doesn't deny the fact that she is at her wit's end and she's done for a variety of reasons, not just because it's farm life and not just because you're at work, but because of the pressure of the mom and the dad and just the whole thing. It just feels terrible to her. So, why can't he see that? Now, let's try to imagine what he could say if he does actually intend on moving out, which again is debatable. He could say something like, look, Julia, I get it. You don't like living on a farm, and I thought you might kind of like it, but you don't like it, and I respect that. And to be honest, I can't really relate because I've lived on a farm my whole life, and this is just normal to me. But I recognize that most people on this planet don't live on farms and don't like this kind of lifestyle, and that's okay. It's hard for me to relate to, but I totally get it, and you're normal, and it's all right, and I respect that, and thanks for telling me, and I'm really sorry. I really did think that you would end up liking it. You clearly did not like it, and that's okay. And I hear you. I also hear you that you don't like it, that you're just stuck here while I'm at work the whole time. I hear that too. And I would imagine that would be very upsetting and lonely. I also know that my parents have been really mean at times and controlling and have yelled at you about things that I don't think are really fair. I hear you on that level too. And I get you. And I just want to try to convince you, but let's talk about it. But I really, really do need a couple more months to save money. And let me show you the budget. That's always a thing on the show that always just drives me nuts. It's like, why don't the two of them sit down and just look at the budget? With Colt and Larissa. Larissa wants a couch, and Colt's like, I can't afford it. Why don't they both as a couple sit down? When me and my wife are trying to afford something, particularly big things, particularly big decisions like this, moving out, we both just look at the budget and say, here's the money that we have, and here's how much it costs. What do we want to do? Maybe I want something, maybe she wants something, and we work it out. But we look at the budget. So maybe they've done this, but it doesn't seem so. I'm guessing she would say, if we can move out now, I don't care what consequence we give up in the past, in the future. I don't care if we have the cheapest wedding of all time that only costs $5. I cannot stay here. I'm guessing that's what she would say. And maybe he would say, okay, well, that's not my wish, but I don't want to lose you. So, okay, let's do that with the budget. I hope I demonstrated how he could care for her and validate her and understand her and show empathy, try to be in her shoes, while at the same time saying, I still want to try to convince you to do this. There's a way to validate, but that's not what he's doing, right? But maybe he will. Let's watch.
I try for you.
I know, but I just feel like it's not as hard as you're making it out to be.
Yikes. Oh, boy. So let's take a guess and say that Brandon has been denied by people in his life his own feelings. And when people have feelings in this family that are inconvenient, they are shamed and made to feel crazy and told that there's something wrong with them. Because even if Julia was strange, even if she was like particularly rigid about the farm, which it doesn't seem like she is, but let's say that she's being unreasonable about the farm and about the parents and about all that stuff, that doesn't justify saying to someone essentially, there's something wrong with you and the way that you feel things, right? Now, I will say that it's a very common tactic in couples, if not universal, that when our spouse is upset at us or they do have an inconvenient feeling, it's a very easy reaction to have, very common reaction to have, to try to change the other person's mind and say like, well, I think the way you're looking at it is wrong. And by doing that, you can sometimes really deny someone's entire experience, and then you get a face like this. So, oh boy.
I don't know. Maybe it's just easier for me, but
It's
I
easy
don't
for
see.
you. You
I don't
never understand what I feel.
I don't, because I just think it's easy.
Wow. I mean, it's interesting because I guess I'm surprised because watching Brandon up until this point, I thought that he had the capacity to care, that he didn't have this in him. But this is pretty stark at this point. This is a pretty revealing moment for the way that he deals with things, which I guess I just didn't see that he was capable of this. I mean, to just completely deny her feelings, which why? Why would you not validate someone's, even if you don't understand them, it doesn't mean you can't understand. Plus, her feelings are very understandable, I think. And then to just be very disappointed in her and, boy, there's something really weird about you, I'm just so disappointed. He has a very disappointed face, like, what's wrong with you? I mean, why? She wants to move out with you. She's not saying, I want to kill all the animals on the farm. She's saying, I don't want to live with your parents. Why is that so strange?
Why is it so hard taking care of cute animals? More people would love this.
More people. Okay, marry more people. I adaptation very quickly for all situation. But this is like change my life, and I adaptation very slowly because hard. It's like change life, change language, change your family, all change. You need be man, and you need fix this problem.
Julia.
We need leave or I leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a strange request. I think she could do a little better by explaining it a little better. Like, the reason why I want to move out isn't because of the animals. I mean, that's part of it. But it's because I don't want to be around your parents. I want to be able to sleep in the same bed. I don't want to have to sneak around to be with you. I don't want to be controlled by your parents anymore. I don't want to be put down by your parents anymore. I want to live with you and not have all those other problems. The other reason why I'm giving you this ultimatum is because I'm not sure if you actually really love me. I'm not sure if you actually care enough to understand my feelings and at least try to move out with me. It seems like you just don't even care. And so I'm kind of using this as a litmus test for, do you actually love me? Do you care? Do you want to try for this relationship? Or are you just looking for a farmhand on this farm? So she could explain it that way. I don't know if that would do any good, honestly, but it might give him a chance to see through the woods here and say, oh, okay, it's not about the animals. It's about wanting to be with me. That's why she's saying this. Because it is presumably why she's saying that, right?
You choose.
I mean, I love you. I want to do anything for you, but it a little bit upsets me that you're just like so easy, like, oh, I'll just leave.
I give you my life, and you need to give me your life.
I hate this. She makes me feel like I don't have any other choice. She's done.
Yeah, you don't have another. I don't understand what the big deal is, Brandon. If you can move out, isn't that what you want to do? It's just a little earlier. Again, there's a possibility that what's really going on in his mind right now is, actually, I don't intend on ever leaving because it's my role to stay. So it's such a weird conversation, you know? I mean, I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments, but I can certainly see where Julia is coming from, and the way Brandon's reacting is just very interesting. And again, if he were my client, I would have a chance to get to know him, understand what's going on there, but it certainly is confusing.
We just gotta leave the family farm because from here, things are only gonna get worse. It's a lot to hear. But I'm gonna fix this for us.
Now, there's a possibility that deep down for him, he is thinking, you do not understand, Julia, the amount of emotional turmoil that I'm going to go through if I move out. My parents are going to punish me for the rest of my life. And I am not mature enough to handle that. It's too much for me to handle. Maybe that's what's happening right here. There's another possibility of what's happening right here is, well, I'll tell her I'm going to fix it, because he said this essentially before. He has said before, I'll fix it. Everything's going to be fine. And then Julia is like, oh, okay. And then he doesn't actually do anything. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening. But let's cross our fingers, and maybe they will be able to move out, and the two of them can actually see from that point forward if they're compatible together.
I'm going to talk to my parents, tell them we're leaving, because I don't want to lose you. I'm going to be the man that you want me to be.
It's a little weird, but okay, good. So Julia gets what she wants. I think Brandon gets what he wants. It's just a little earlier. Presumably the parents will get what they want because their son is happy. Let's hope.
I feel very happy. Brandon say he go tell parents we move. This is big step for us.
So now I'm really worried that something real ugly is going to happen between Brandon, I guess, and Julia and the parents. By the way, I never watch the coming up later in this season. So sometimes people will tell me things. They'll say, well, we've seen the previews of what happens later in the season and this and that happens. I never watch that because I don't want it to be spoiled. I want to react genuinely. And when people send me articles about the people on the show, I usually don't read them because, again, I don't want it to be spoiled. I want it to be genuine as I'm reacting. But I seem to remember someone telling me a few weeks ago that there is some clip of big conflict in this family. And so maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. Hopefully not. But I would not be surprised if this gets real ugly from this point forward. But hopefully not.
By telling my parents that I'm moving out with Julia now, I'm taking a huge risk. One, financially, and I'm also worried that my relationship with my parents will never be the same.
Right. I think that that's rational. On one level, financially, it's going to be a little tough, but it sounds doable. And two, my relationship with my parents are going to be real rough. Yeah. If the speculations are correct, which we don't know, then this is going to be a major deal in this family for him to say that he's going to move out. It's one thing to say you're going to get married on the weekend of Mother's Day. It's another thing to say that he's going to move out when the parents maybe implicitly or explicitly expect him to stay there for the rest of his life.
I love you.
Love you too.
There's another possibility that the parents actually do expect him to move out, but emotionally they're not really ready for it, or emotionally they want him to do it in the way that they expect him to do it or something. So, because they've kind of indicated that it's really hard to figure out, given the various different things that we've heard, Brandon and the parents, what their vision is for Brandon's future. On one hand, it looks like they expect him to move out. On the other hand, it looks like they expect him to never move out. I'm guessing we'll find out when they have that discussion.
But I love this girl, and I do not want to lose her.
Next time on...
If you didn't know this, we have a website, psychologyinseattle.com. You can go there, and all of our episodes are listed there, over 1,000 episodes. We have pictures and all sorts of other stuff. And so if you want to, you can go to our website. There should be a link below. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.